So not too long ago, the Piggy Mansion film sequel came out. So in this video I'm going to be going over the full story of the Piggy Mansion films. Now the core story of these animations is basically the Piggy Mansion chapter, but with elements added to it. But it's the elements that it adds on that makes the film so special. On that point, the most well-known aspects of these films is the animation, which to be honest, in my opinion, is on par, if not even better than Piggy RP films animation. I would say that the first Piggy Mansion film is more comparable to Piggy RP films animation, maybe slightly better, but I've got to be totally honest, the second film blows Piggy RP films animation out of the water. A very noticeable aspect of this is the eyebrows, which are different to the rectangular eyebrows that you see in Piggy animations. Now, as impressive as these eyebrows are compared to the rectangular eyebrows, what I think would make them even cooler if they could actually move and change position on camera instead of just changing models in a much more smooth way that looks like it was actually animated and stayed the exact same model. Anyway, before I move on from the animation aspect, I just want to point out that the motion of the character movement is really impressive. Anyway, let's talk about the story details. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, by the way. And yeah, anyway, so going off in chronological order, so in a flashback, Eddie appears to work at a place called Building Blocks. This flashback shows off the creation of Duo Kara, and afterwards we get a little time skip, which I gotta point out, in this universe, by the way, there are multiple humans, which I presume are all immune to the infection, like that one background character, and Snookums himself, who has canonized himself as a delivery man in this version of the Piggy universe, who delivers a mysterious crystal to Eddie, which gives him a very alarming vision of the future, which I know I said that I moved on from the animation aspect of this, but that giant crack forming is really impressive, and I don't think that would be possible in Roblox Studio. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, Eddie has a vision of certain characters who get corrupted by the insolence. But another aspect that I don't know how Snookums did is how he changed the color of the head model for certain characters that add effect in this vision. On top of that, he sees a relative of his, Ellie, being one of them, and as a sign of her turn to darkness, she cuts off Eddie's hand. Afterwards, Eddie sees his own skeleton in a desert, and back in the real world, he faints from trauma. Anyway, another little time skip later, we see Pony being negligent on Z and Susie sneaking out. On that aspect, I think it is really cool to see a small aspect of the lifestyle of the Safe Place members. And by the way, in this universe, the Safe Place members lived together before the infection. And as the end of the mansion chapter implied, around this time is Halloween. Anyway, as Mimi goes outside to give the kids their Halloween buckets, Mimi notices that Z and Susie have run off. So Mimi tells Zizzy, who goes to talk to Pony because he was supposed to watch over them, and out of it we get a goofy little scene where she tries to get his attention. But he's not in his room. I presume by now he's already trick-or-treating. So because all three of them have disappeared, Zizzy goes to Grandmother Piggy. And I find it interesting that Zizzy calls Grandmother Grandma, despite the fact that she's not related to her in the first place. Anyway, Zizzy asks for help, and Grandmother Piggy assures Zizzy that it's not Pony's fault, and then presumes that the sisters would run off to the forest. So Zizzy goes there. Anyway, onto the bulk of the films. So the actual mansion part is mainly Z and Susie trespassing into a mansion and trying to avoid the really big threat of Duo Kara. I think this part of the story is enhanced by how menacing Duo Kara is, which in my opinion enhances the story greatly from the original version of the mansion chapter. And that's not even mentioning the fact that Duo Kara managed to knock out one of them. By the way, I also just want to mention that Z traveling through that puddle was really cool. Anyway, after they defeat Duo Kara in a really really good fight scene. The story between Z and Zuzi continues as you usually expect it, nothing too noteworthy. But before I end this video, I gotta talk about the ghost elephant, who helped Zuzi out evade Juokara. Well, at the end of the second mansion film, it is revealed that the ghost, I presume, is Eddie's son, who died in an accident where I presume the mansion was being built. Anyway, in conclusion, I think that the mansion chapter movies are immensely impressive. And animation-wise, I think it goes above the bar that PGHL Films sets. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe, and bye.